Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. We aim to be the most honest, real, live channel on YouTube TV. We're very, very excited. I've got Scot Cohen in the green room ready to talk to you. Now, I know why everyone's tuning in today. Of course, this is a special world exclusive, something really exciting, of course, for WRAP Technologies. Now, if you are new to the channel, if you've got no idea what we're talking about, well, tap the subscribe button. Make sure that you ring the bell so you'll be notified of when we go live. Have you done that? Have you tapped the like button as well? You done all that stuff? Great. Well, let me bring up the links that you need so you can look below the description of the video and find all my correspondence and everything that you need to keep in touch with the family. Now, a few days ago, we had Scot, who is the CEO of WRAP Technologies, live on our show. We had a great day with him, great afternoon, learned a lot about the company. And I actually made a joke with Scot. I said, Scot, I know you've got a YouTube channel, mate, but give me a week and I'll rank #1, right? They've been doing it for years, you know. But, you know, we make videos. They make, you know, BolaWraps. You know, this is what we do, right? I'm not even going to try and do a BolaWrap. I mean, where would I start with it? Anyway, so I said, we'll rank within a week. Well, guess what, folks? Just thought I'd share this with you because I know the family are very excited about the channel and investments they love and exciting, innovative products. Well, let me share with you. Look at this. This is YouTube in incognito mode. And there is WRAP Technologies, the website. They're #2. Can you believe it? We're #1. Right, in literally did it within 24 hours and we have the top 4 videos now on YouTube. But Scot doesn't mind that. He just wants to make the product. He'll let me promote it and talk about it. He doesn't mind that. But I thought I would share that with you. And that's because of you guys. You've been watching it, sharing it on social media, on X, Instagram, everywhere else that I go live. And you've done that. So that's great. So anyway, we learned about BolaWrap and we learned about WRAP Technologies from Scot live on the show a couple of days ago. This is just a little bit of a preview what we talked about, or just a recap of what we talked about. But I've got some information for you because you're all tuned in today for our world exclusive. Well, got to remember, guys, this is a publicly traded company, so we have to abide by the rules, right? You can't get information before it's public available because we know why. That would get everybody in trouble. We can't do that. So what we've got today is some information that is out for you. I'm going to share with you. And then we're going to hear from Scot. He's waiting on the phone to come in and talk to me. And then tomorrow morning at 8:05, a very precise time. It has to be like this, guys. Join me on the opening bell in the morning for some really exciting news. We would love to tell you. I don't know what it is, because if I knew what it is, I'd be in trouble too, right? I've got no idea. But I'm sure it's going to be exciting, right? But tomorrow morning, Scot says, I got some big news. You'll be the first to know. 8:05 Central Time, which is 9 Eastern Time. And Scot or JD will be calling in directly from WRAP Technologies to give us that information just before the bell opens. So boy, you want to be here tomorrow morning for that. Anyway, first of all, we're going to give you the information that we can that has just come out. Let me just do this for you before I bring Scot in. He's ready to talk to me. WRAP Technologies positions for scale with manufacturing and sales expansion while reducing workforce by 30%. Now, the last time we heard of a company that promised to scale and reduce their workforce, well, of course, that was Amazon and Meta. And we all saw what happened when they did that, right? They cut costs, they made the business more profitable, and they scaled. And we all know what's happened to Amazon and Meta since that announcement. Anyway, scrolling down just before I get Scot on the show, WRAP Technologies, the makers of BolaWrap, and the innovative public safety solutions platform. I apologize for looking to the left. It's because the text is so small, so I have to look on my mirror screen. Safety solutions platform powered by artificial intelligence, AI, virtual reality, anything with AI these days seems to do well, and data, today announces an initiative to position the company for growth in 2024 and beyond. Now we're going to get the latest information at 8:05 Central Time, just before the market opens tomorrow morning. So do make sure that you join us. The company has reduced its labor force by 30%, representing a 2.4 million in annual savings in the past 45 days throughout sourcing and headcount reductions. To position for the future, the company is expanding manufacturing capacity in its Tempe facility and building out a robust enterprise-level sales and marketing team. These measures could enable WRAP to meet an increasingly global demand for its solutions while driving shareholder value. Okay, there it is. Now then, without further ado, let's get the CEO on himself. He's mobile today. He's flying around the country, so we apologize if the sound and we don't have a fancy background like we did the other day, beautiful background in his garden, whatever it was. But he's a busy man, which is what we want him to be, right? Out there getting the product out so we as investors can make money, right? That's what you want. Okay, let's get straight into it and welcome live onto the show. We have Scot Cohen from WRAP Technologies. How are you, Scot?
Doing great. Thanks for having me back, Martyn.
My absolute pleasure. We're all extremely excited to find out what happens tomorrow morning. So tell us what's been going on, what you can tell us over the last 24 hours, and if you could add to what we've just read here to the audience.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple days, but you saw the press release, and it's rare that a business gets to be in a position where you can actually start to focus on really and get very clear on what the objectives are. We've got to make product. We got to focus on that. We've got to bring absolute clarity and connectivity, not only on the manufacturing side, but then when you walk over to the sales side, it's all connected. But now we're able to really get clear with everybody and put the resources in, which is going to bring the value, which is clearly sales and manufacturing. We got to manufacture. This is a delicate product. It has to be done the right way. There'll be technical issues that come up, but this has to be done with people that are pros, that are experts in the manufacturing area, that are engineers, and a whole a group of people to make that product as robust as it needs to be as it hits the belts and gets out into the field in a deployment phase. So this is all about execution here. The interest is there, the brand's there, the demand is there. It's clear why people need this. It's clear why cities need this, why officers need this, and why the public's looking for it. Now it's a matter of execution, making the product, and creating awareness and driving the top line.
Thank you, Scot, for that updated information. I've got some questions here for you that have just come in. We put this, I put a post on my X account a couple of days ago talking about today's event, yesterday rather, about today's event, asking people to ask questions to you directly. So I'm going to get through these quickly. I know time is very valuable and you've got to get off and do the things that you've got to do for tomorrow. What is the date for the Q4 2023 earnings release? Do you have that date yet, Scot?
We haven't set it yet, but it's going to be mid-March. So we'll probably put it out there in the next maximum 2 weeks or less, but it look and aim for mid-March.
And we will actually cover the earnings. We cover the earnings for nearly all the stocks that we cover. So we'll be live listening to your earnings, and it will be the number one stream for your earnings. I've no doubt about it. It would be kind of cool if I could put a question. I've never done that on an earnings. Anyway, maybe you can sort that out for me. I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'm pushing my luck a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, question number 2. We got another question here. PR yesterday regarding cost savings and margins on BolaWrap. Cohen toused on, I apologize, I'm reading it as it's written here, toused on last interview. Please provide more color regarding profit margins on all products, BolaWrap, body cams, VR training. Can you answer that one for us, Scot, please? I apologize for mispronouncing your name.
Yeah. Obviously, as we get to more scale, which is that's what we're entering in now, where our volumes are increasing, prices are going down. So our our general costs associated with the manufacturing of the device and the cartridge is dropping. Therefore, the margins are going up. We did a price increase last year with virtually no pushback. So there was very little hesitation, very little resistance on the price increase, about 30%, and our costs are actually dropping to make it, which allows us to even pack more tech into the version, make it even safer, account for things that we weren't thinking about when we originally started designing the prototype in the unit. So yeah, costs are dropping and prices are met with very little resistance. It's very similar on the VR and very similar on the body cam. I mean, the margins are great, and you can look at some of the peer comps to see that as well. It's showing up in our business similar to some of our peers.
Thank you. Next question, and number 4, intrinsic body cams, advantages or competitive disadvantages competing with Axon, if you're able to answer that.
I'll tell you, there's some benefits and some features that we have that the Axon system doesn't have, but one of the biggest ones is price. We're going to be able to compete feature to feature pretty straight up. That's pretty straightforward. But when you get into the pricing, that's where we're going to win. You don't need a Ferrari. You can do just fine with a Cadillac or a Chevy. It works, and it works well. There's been very little attrition with the intrinsic customer base. It's over 90 departments have had it, and that's ramping obviously since we bought it. Lots of interest there, but we're going to compete not just on features, but on an open system. So it's not going to be closed off to just the TASER system. It's going to be open to other devices and other tracking systems. It's going to connect with just the industry, not just one device. And the big thing is costs. I mean, if we're able to save departments costs and do this fairly easily to convert their data to off the Axon system onto our system, and we can drop the price. That's more officers on the street. Those are safer outcomes. So we're actually saving budgets, and we're getting more mileage out of these departments' dollars that they have to allocate towards technology like this.
Thank you. Next question, and you may not be able to answer this, but I'm going to ask it as it was asked on X, on my X account. Because Scott, as a CEO of a company, can't directly talk about stock prices. We can't do that. But there is a question, because obviously since we started covering it, many of my members have bought the stock. It's getting a lot more attention now. It's ranking on Google and YouTube. The price has been going up. The volume has been going up. And there was a big moment. I'm sure you saw it. I'm going to ask the question as it's presented to me, and feel free if you can't answer it. I understand there's rules we have to follow here. But the question that I was asked was, Monday stock halted on order imbalance, short covering, buy order. Any idea on what happened? What was that all about? Short interest is fairly high. 300-day swing in stock pricing came back to where it began. The stock halt and trading at 7 looked strange. Squeeze starting possibly, short interest. What was going on there? Now, as I say, Scott might not be able to talk directly about that, but everyone saw the stock price go up and then straight back down again.
Look, this is there's a lot of interest. Our shareholder base keeps increasing at peak. We had, I think our base jumped from a couple hundred investors to almost 75,000 a couple years ago. And this was around the time of George Floyd. So there was just a lot of interest. The business wasn't mature enough. The device hadn't been deployed enough to really get the kind of visibility that we're getting now in the business. So it's changed fundamentally from a couple years ago. But this is a visual product. You can see it on YouTube. You can see it on the body cam. You see it on the nightly news. You see it on our channels, our social channels. It's very easy to see. And everybody's interested in crime, no matter if it's in your local town, major cities, or around the world. Everybody's reporting on it. So this is a topic that's widely covered, and it's very engaging. It's a visual story. So you have people following it very closely that are absolutely passionate about this topic. You're talking about policing, law enforcement, public safety. So the combination of it being visual plus the fact that it's in the news constantly is where the engagement's coming from. And it's not just local, it's global. So I would expect that to continue with the more successful deployments, with the revenue increases. You'll see more and more engagement. You'll get more and more people involved, and you're going to have higher connectivity and much more eyeballs on it. So I expect the reason why you saw that action on Monday, there's a lot of people looking. There's a lot of people watching. And if we put up the numbers that we're hopeful we can execute on, then it's going to, you'll start to see even more liquidity, and I would expect a much broader participation. So I would think the stock is going to be volatile. And what's exciting to me, and I think investors can see this as well, when you start getting one or two or three or a dozen major cities, or even small cities, the city next door, the county next door wants to know what's happening and why. And then the constituents start asking, well, why aren't you carrying the BolaWrap? Why? And so it becomes a real domino effect. You're going to see people following the lead of a city that's going full deployment or has successful BolaWrap. And I think that's also a reason why investors are really starting to, this resonates well with investors. It's super clear because you see a successful outcome with the BolaWrap, very few unsuccessful outcomes. And that's going to trigger more interest from the neighboring counties or cities or countries, and that's driving more sales. So this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will, and I think that's why the stock's jumpy.
Okay, let me share with you on the screen. I think I've got one more question, if I may. This is AlphaSpread, the most advanced algorithmic software, which is what I use. And as you can see, they picked up our review the other day. Scott, we are now here. Our review is here. It's not being covered by CNBC or Yahoo, any of those people yet, Bloomberg, but there I am, right there. And so go and check this out. This is just on numbers. This is just comes down to it. And as you can see there, we've got 13.21% of short interest. So what we've got now, people are looking at the intrinsic value. And in my opinion, having talked to Scott, they're getting it wrong because they're looking at the intrinsic value, which says 47 cents, and now the stock is at 3.94, and they're looking at that and thinking, well, it's overpriced and it's going down. So that's why there's a lot of short interest. But remember, with short interest and then volume on good news, and maybe we're going to get that tomorrow, maybe we're not, I don't know. Scott's going to tell me tomorrow, live in front of all of you at 8:05 Central, 9:05 Eastern time. This may answer your question about what's going on with the stock, because the next question leads us on to this. With such an intrinsic value so far off, with such a high level of short interest, at least relatively, I mean, above 20 is excessive, 13 isn't excessive, but that leads us on perfectly to this question, I think, which just came in from Hardscape Dealer, said, will WRAP, and I think I know the answer to this because I interviewed Scott last week, will WRAP be needing to raise money in the near future? Because, of course, people are looking at it thinking, right, the stock appears to be overvalued. Let's short it because the company are going to need to raise money. Well, let's ask Scott. Are they going to raise money? I think I know the answer after speaking to Scott last week. But I'll let Scott answer the question.
Yeah. Every small company will be raising money all the way, assuming you're in growth mode. Even companies that aren't in growth mode that think they're going to be in growth mode raising money. So our balance sheet right now is strong enough to play out. But I will tell you, in an opportunistic levels, we're always going to evaluate. This is a growth. We're in a growth mode right now. To grow, that means you're hiring talent and you're innovating. We see a big opportunity in the market right now, and we're not going to miss it. We're going to be aggressive to get after it. And when there's capital that's needed to execute on what we see in the future, we're going to take it. We're going to provide the capital necessary to grow this to the level where it needs to be, which is this needs to be on every belt. The body cams need to be on. We need to have vast deployment of our body cam business, and this is an absolute global business. If you add all that up, it's a massive opportunity, and yes, it's going to take capital. So do expect there'll be capital that will come into the business, more capital. At
Do you mean
different levels.
capital that you're going to bring in, or you're going to go to the shareholders? That's the question.
It's a public company, so shareholders will always, it comes from the public. So it's either going to come from people that are close to the business. So we've raised $90 million. That's all come from the public, but tend to be people that are very close to the business. And
I think what they're asking though, Scott, is do you have funds of your own? Is the company well placed financially, or does it need to dilute the stock? I think that's where they're going with it.
Yeah, I don't never want to say that we're not going to be raising money. So there'll be an opportunity. If there's an opportunity to take it at the right levels, we'll just have to see what the business, where the business is at the time. I mean, right now, I'm loving where we are because we're in aggressive growth mode, and we're also watching the bottom line, as you can tell by the announcement that we put out Monday. So it's a balance. But if you look at how we've managed ourselves from day one, this company's been, I think we've executed on a capital market strategy really well. And I think you could look for us to continue to be opportunistic at the right time, but in a way where the shareholders are going to be benefited. So certainly me as the largest shareholder, I'm not looking to dilute myself in any meaningful way, nor anybody in the cap table. I have a lot of respect, and I treat every shareholder like it's my own money, and it is my own money. So we're going to be really careful when it comes to dilutions. This will not be done if and when they happen. They won't be sloppy.
Yeah. Let me share with everybody the balance sheet right now. We're at 31.7 million in assets, 11.1 in liabilities. We got plenty of cash. We got 14.9 million in cash on this recent balance sheet, and it's not showing any long-term debt there. So it's a very well-funded company. So like Scott said, if they need to raise funds, any business has the right and the right to do that. But you can see here also from the solvency score, we've got a very a decent score here. Anything above 35 it's not going bust anytime soon. We're 54% here, so we've got a good low DE score, a good long-term solvency score, and a good short-term solvency score. So it's a well-funded company. That all looks pretty good to me. But obviously, because people are just looking at the intrinsic value, then they're looking at that because the stock is now getting attention to put short interest on it. But it's not excessive, and there's not enough volume yet to worry about too much short interest or a short squeeze. Anyway, I got one final question because I want to let Scott go. I'm sure he's a busy guy
Martyn,
today.
This is the last one because we're
you got to go.
To the airport. Yeah,
it's got to run. Right. Very quick question. I'll just pick one. I apologize if I didn't get to everyone's questions. When will WRAP generate net profit and stop losing money on an EPS basis? When will WRAP start making profit and stop losing money? Start making money and stop losing money on an EPS basis. And I apologize, folks. That's the last question because Scott is very busy this afternoon. Thanks, Scott.
Martyn, it's a real simple one. You can look to see what we're spending. You can look, it's all top line related. We know what our margins are. It's pretty straightforward at this point. They vary a little bit, but they're getting better. It's driving the top line. So the more top line that we get from here, you could see what we did in the fourth quarter, at least one of our biggest contract that we've put up in some time. But it's the higher the top line goes, you're going to be able to put out a positive number. So that's why I'm so focused on the top line, because this business can be very profitable with those margins. So we got to just boost sales. So you could expect with a higher revenue numbers, you could expect profitability.
Scott, I want to respect your time. I know you got to get off. I look forward to seeing yourself or JD on the show tomorrow at 8:05 Central, 9:05 Eastern for this big news. We're very excited. And thank you for giving us opportunity to share it first to the world, a world exclusive. Fantastic. Have a great day, and I'll see you later on. All right?
All right. Super. Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much indeed. There we go. Scot Cohen of WRAP Technologies live on the show will be with us in the morning. You cannot miss that. What is that news? What are they about to tell us? I'm excited. I am excited. I can feel it in the room. I've got no idea. Scott won't tell me, of course. We've got rules and regulations to follow, but I've got to be honest, I can feel it. I can feel it's going to be exciting. So I'll be there in the morning with that breaking news, so make sure that you all join us.